Hey everybody, it's Pat Monahan back with you on the world's greatest podcast, the Patcast. We've had a few days off from our crazy recording schedule to catch our breath, but we are about to get right back into it with a couple of stops in New York and Texas, and then back to LA for more studio time and a few more podcasts as well. We also have been announcing some upcoming summer train shows. Chicago, we're coming to see you at Ravinia. England, will be at the V-Fest. Idaho, come see us at the Boise Music Fest. And I'll be making an appearance with my friend Sammy Hagar at the Acoustic for a Cure benefit in San Francisco in May. And we're coming to Sturgis, South Dakota for the annual Biker Festival in August. I'm so jacked up about that because I have been told for so many years that it's one of the greatest events that you can ever go to. I don't ride due to a fear that I think my father placed in me years ago, but I do like motorcycles and think that convention is going to be awesome for everybody. We're really excited to be playing again in some of our favorite places and seeing some of our favorite familiar faces. And that's it for the news, I guess. So let me tell you about this week's Patcast. Brett Dennen. He's from Oakdale, California, and he went to college at UC Santa Cruz. So his roots are pretty firmly planted in California soil. You'll hear him tell us about this in the interview, but for the record, I did read his bio, but that'll make more sense to you in a few minutes. Anyway, we were on the Sail Across the Sun cruise on our way to Grand Cayman with Train. Brett and Matt Nathanson, Michael Fronte, and a whole bunch of other artists. And fans, of course. And just relaxing and drinking tropical drinks like Miller Lite and having a great time. And we decided that it would be fun to have a live podcast, so we set up in a theater on the boat and invited a bunch of people to come hang with us while I did this interview with Brett. It worked out pretty great, so I think we will definitely be doing this kind of thing again in the future. I met Brett when we got on the boat, and then I woke him up from his nap so we could do this interview, and he wasn't too happy about that, but he was a good sport. What I didn't see coming was that Brett has an insatiable ball-busting attitude, which I love. This guy was all sarcasm right out of the gate, and that is part of the reason that this is one of my favorite interviews that we've ever done. He plays great, he's funny as hell, and when we get him to turn down the jokey stuff a little, he's also a genuinely caring fella. He cares about his fans, he cares about his music, and he cares about doing some good in the world. And that's not something you see every day, especially in the entertainment business. He also really likes giving Pergo a hard time. So that was a lot of fun for me and for everybody else, I think, in our live audience. Not so much for Pergo. We got him to do a couple of songs, and Jerry and I play and sing with him as well. So this was a really fun one for us. So here it is, live from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, recorded in front of a live audience on a boat. It's Brett Dennen on the Patcast.
What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking, looking at you. You got to get it while the getting is good. Laugh when you can, cry when you should. You got to give it till the giving is gone. Do what you can, then you move on. What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking, looking at you.
Hey everybody, I'm Pat Monahan from the band Train, and this is our first live Patcast ever. There's always two people that do this Patcast with me. On my left is Jerry Becker, who's also in the band Train. And then the guy who's responsible for all the work that goes into it, Pergo. You know Pergo.
What the?
Yeah, you don't really do much, Jerry.
What the?
Yeah.
It's all right, Jerry.
So tonight I'm really excited that I think I've only met this gentleman one other time, and each time I see him, he's slightly taller than the last time. But please welcome from Northern California, Mr. Brett Dennen. You dress like you're on a cruise, bro.
I heard this was a boat.
I heard this was a boat. So, am I keeping you from doing something? What do you don't like stools, you like smaller chairs. Oh, because you're so tall. I see what you're doing.
It's not a tall thing.
Oh, it's a table. Got it. All right. Are you... People can't see that on the radio, so he just switched from sunglasses to awesome regular glasses that...
Pat's wearing shorts. On the radio.
I also am on a boat. So, hey, Brett, I have a lot of questions for you. Probably none of them are very good. But before we get into all those questions, would you mind playing, I think maybe, was it the first single that people would have heard you from?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe these, maybe, yeah, probably, maybe.
Would you mind starting it out with that so everybody can get an idea of your music and why you're so good and awesome and so awesome?
Well, thanks for having me on your boat and your podcast. How'd you get a podcast? What do you got to do?
You got to get a Pergo.
See, that disheartens me a little bit because I hear a lot of girls screaming, and this Pogo guy last night, Pico?
Close enough.
Yes,
was
close.
dancing with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right in front of my face.
Yeah.
I leave for 2 seconds to get her a drink. And
Hey,
I
man.
come back, and this guy, you make my dreams come true.
You know,
First of all, I did not know she was your girlfriend. And second of all,
Yes,
I
you
don't
did.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
you know, I've known Pergo for years now, and there's no way that he was going to interfere with your relationship with a girl.
Pogo better watch it. Pogo better watch out.
Hey, man, play some songs, man, because it's so good when you sing.
It's hard to get serious. I bet you have a lot of trouble with that in the band Train, right?
Whoa.
Being a funny guy, then singing serious songs.
Man, I just really wish you would just sing a song right now.
I woke up. I got some coffee. I'm not sleepy anymore. There ain't no reason things are this way. It's how they always been and they intend to stay. I can't explain why we live this way. We do it every day. Preachers on the podium speaking to saints. Prophets on the sidewalk begging for change. Old ladies laughing from the fire escape, cursing my name. I got a basket full of lemons and they all taste the same. A window in a pigeon with a broken wing. You can spend your whole life working for something just to have it taken away. And people walk around pushing back their debts, wearing paychecks like necklaces and bracelets, talking about nothing, not thinking about death. every little heartbeat, every little breath. And people walk a tightrope on a razor's edge, carrying their hurt and hatred and weapons. It could be a bomb or a bullet or a pen or a thought or a word or a sentence. There ain't no reason things are this way. It's how they always been and they intend to stay. I can't explain the things that I say, but I say them anyway. But love will come and set me free. Love will come set me free. I know it will. Love will come set me free. I do believe love will come set me free. She will. Prison walls still standing tall. Some things never change at all. You keep on building prisons, gonna fill them all. You keep on building bombs, gonna drop them all. Working your fingers bare to the bone, breaking your back, make you sell your soul. Like a lung that's filled with coal, suffocating slow. The wind blows wild and I may move, but politicians lie and I am not fooled. Cause you don't need no razor, no a three-piece suit to argue the truth. The air on my skin and the world under my toes, slavery stitched into the fabric of my clothes. Chaos and commotion wherever I go. Love I'll try to follow. Love will come set me free. Love will come set me free. I know it will. Love will come set me free. I do believe love will come set me free. There ain't no reason things are this way. It's how they always been and they intend to stay. I can't explain why we live this way. We do it every day.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a couple things that while you were singing, I was made a lot of sense. But first of all, are you a fan of reggae? Because I know "Love Will Set Me Free" is very Bob Marley to me. It's such a cool, it's such a cool kind of statement. And the way you do it is very reggae. Is that part of your music history?
Yeah, I love reggae. I grew up in California. I went to college in California, so, reggae is everywhere. Love Cali, love Bob Marley.
The other thing that I was thinking while I was watching you, well, there were two other things. One is, I like you so much more than I like Matt Nathanson. I didn't realize that because I've only known you for like a day or whatever, but it all of a sudden was like,
I'm not as, he's all furry these days. I'm not that furry.
Maybe that's it.
He's getting he's been doing these protein shakes or something. He's getting all buff.
Yeah, and it makes his hair grow thicker.
He's getting bigger, and his neck and his shoulders and his pecs.
Maybe it's that I think I can beat you up still, and Matt's out of the question.
Yeah, maybe.
But here's what the lyric "Love Will Set Me Free" was making me wonder. Like, when did you write that song?
Like 7 or 8 years ago. 7 or 8 years ago,
and then when Passenger decided to steal the entire song with "And I Let Her Go," and the guy stole your song and your voice. Did Love set you free, or were you more like, I want to set some publishing free from that guy's pockets? I guess what I'm asking is, if you don't have a lawyer, I know a lawyer. I'm a big Passenger fan, but I didn't realize that it was your song he was singing.
I don't even know what.
I think I'm
is
probably
this
not going to be
being
able
recorded?
to podcast him after this, but do you
Well-
care? Do you care when you hear a song and you go like, man, that sounds a lot like, well, shit, that sounds a lot like me. Do you go like, that's a huge compliment? Or?
Yeah, that is. It's happened once or twice, and I think it's got to be good, right?
I don't know. Like, I know that I've been watching people dance on the deck of the boat, and one of the songs that just really is a super creepy song to me that people love to dance to is that I know you want it.
Yeah.
I know you want it.
Yeah.
Like a 40-year-old guy going, I know you want. If I sang that shit, I'd be arrested. And people are up there like, and then they made the mistake of saying, hey,
what do you want? What do I want, really? That's
I don't know.
what do I want that you know I want so bad?
I could tell
Racking
you
my
later
brain
after
here.
the show. I think there might be a couple of kids out there. But so watching that and then hearing the story about, hey, when they were writing the song, they kind of lifted it from Marvin Gaye, and then Marvin Gaye's estate was like, wait, what? And then they went and listened, and it wasn't just a borrow.
Right, it's undeniable. I'm pretty sure everybody who's familiar with the Marvin Gaye song, the first time they heard that song, were like, it sounds like Marvin Gaye. I know I did, but shoot.
I don't even think Marvin Gaye would say, I know you want it. And he could say some, sexual healing.
Yeah.
Like, he would say some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
You're a good singer.
I don't want to stir things up. What'd you say?
You're a good singer. You this could be it's like a.
I think
I feel like there's like a off-Broadway show developing here.
I hope so.
The music business. By
I want to
Pat.
talk. I want to talk to you about California because it says that you're from Santa Cruz. Is that right?
No.
Where are you
I went
from?
to college in I grew up in Oakdale.
Okay.
It's in the
Oakdale in the house.
Central Valley near Modesto.
Yeah.
You know Modesto?
Of course.
Where are you
There's
from?
Good wine comes out of there. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but I moved to the Bay Area. I lived in a town called Petaluma for a long time.
Petaluma.
And,
my sister used to teach high school there at Casa Grande High School.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, Casa Grande. There was Petaluma High and then Casa Grande, and neither one I went to. So,
But you would hang out there like around 3:30.
around 3, yeah, you could see me once in a while.
Just scoping things out.
Yeah. Well, I was. Here's Jerry's sick humor.
Amber Alert. Amber Alert right here. Amber Alert.
No, but like an hour ago, I was making towel animals with kids, and the kid, and Jerry was like, obviously they didn't do the research. And then you said something.
What? It's not in a park.
All of this will be edited. Actually, Pergo does the editing. He's like, I don't know how to edit. I don't know.
You're gonna have to Google it. It's true.
Anyway, I do want to talk about California because I know how influenced I was by California, and I'm not from there. And so when I hear your music and I hear
But maybe
your
that's
voice,
a good thing because you chose to be there.
no, but yeah, of course, but also it influenced me, and so I can imagine how influenced it all was on you. Like,
Absolutely.
You're such a laid-back character, like in your personal life or in your personality, I should say. I don't really know your personal life, but your music, your vibe, it's all kind of like, hey man, I'm just doing my thing. Like,
I'm just a nice guy. It's all
you couldn't
good.
see on the radio, but he winked in a way that was peculiar.
Yeah.
And so what do you think it is about California that influenced your music? I don't know your family background, so I don't know if you were surrounded by old records and like new Michael Jackson stuff at the time. Or...
I have a very, and it's a story I tell quite a bit. Had you read my bio, you probably would have known. But It's actually a very specific story about how music and California landscape has like made me who I am. And that is, I learned to play guitar at a summer camp, which is in the Sierra Nevada mountains above Oakdale, up on Sonora Pass. And it was like my whole life, all I wanted to be was a camp counselor, and I became a camp counselor. And we'd play every night around the campfire. We'd play Joni Mitchell songs, Crosby, Stills and Nash songs, Eagles songs, all these like great 70s California, Los Angeles kind of singer-songwriter, country rock, folk stuff. And that shaped my whole taste in music and just being in the mountains. And it's like such a California experience, but it also really shaped me, who I am. And I never really got out of that. I thought about moving to New York for a while, but it didn't happen. And I just always been on the West Coast.
Well, the bio that I did read was incredibly uninteresting. No, actually, the most interesting part about it is when you always go to Wikipedia pages, whether they're real or not, and the first part of your Wikipedia info is how devoted you are to like kind of doing great shit. Like you have been so supportive of it's called Camp Jack Hazard.
That's the camp I was talking about, correct.
And so, but like you're super supportive. Can you tell people where it is? Because then maybe they would want to get involved, and why this camp is important and what they're actually supporting in their camp?
Back in the 80s, there was this thing called YMCA, and they're not really around that much anymore, but they owned and operated this summer camp that I went to, and it's like a real rustic mountain experience, learning how to hike and be out in nature and climb, but more so than that, it's about core values and just making good people out of kids. Which isn't the easiest thing to do sometimes. But it's now completely independent. There's no more YMCA in Stanislaus County. And so I've done some help to raise some money, do some fundraisers, and I think it's just an important part of my life. I think everybody has some sort of a summer camp, even if it's not summer camp, but just something to go get outside of your life for a while. I think it can. A lot of people grew up with rougher lives than I did, for sure. But it was nice to at least get out of my town and go be somebody else for a while, and make new friends and be out in nature and build a connection with nature, and that sort of fosters, I think, people becoming humanitarians and environmentalists and just understanding the bigger picture in life, and I think it just makes for great people. So that's why I can try to stay a part of it.
It's very admirable.
Thank you.
I don't know what your parents were like that they instilled that in you, but what was the...
They went to the camp too, or my mom did at least, so she was just keeping it going. But I have nice parents.
Yeah, they were all right?
Yeah, they're nice.
Jerry goes to Camp Titicaca. And he actually
closed down. It closed down too.
Yeah, he started that camp. It's a very, well, you can imagine it's not for everybody.
Titicaca?
You've heard of it? Anyway, so then there's other things that you do. Tell me about
Real good.
Tell me about Mosaic.
Yes, that's more of a Bay Area specific organization based in Oakland. People from Oakland here? One. Nice. Welcome aboard. We work with fifth graders, fourth and fifth graders all over the Bay Area. I don't know if it happens everywhere where you all are from, but in California we have this thing in 6th grade. You can go with your 6th grade class and your teacher to what's called like outdoor ed or a science class, like for a week. You learn about nature and you learn about the water cycle and trees and stuff like that. Science, but it's all experiential. Well, we have a whole model for that in California. So the Mosaic Project is pretty much the same thing. It's like a camp that kids go to with their 5th grade class, but they don't learn about science. They learn about more like it's a curriculum based on human relations. And they're met there by 2 other 5th grade classes with their teachers of very different backgrounds. So we get a low-income inner-city school. We get like a middle-income school from somewhere in the Bay Area, and then we get like a private school. And the kids come to the camp, which is up in Napa, and they all get mixed up into different cabins and sharing groups, and so they're away from their friends. And for a whole week, they are put through this curriculum of who am I, who are we, like what makes us who we are, what makes
But it's also like a connection with nature as well.
Yeah, there's a
important.
nature element for sure. And I think that nature element really makes the curriculum work because you're away from the city again. You don't have like your best friend saying, well, I never heard you say that before, or like your older brother or whatever. And just being outside, it's magical. Kids, 5th graders still believe in magic, and it makes for the experience like just super wonderful.
You know, all this is related to, I see on your right arm, your tattoo says, only love. Mm-hmm. What inspired that? Because it just makes sense, really.
Well,
when you talk to you for a little while, that makes sense.
I'll tell you, what really inspired it is this first tattoo I got that said, nothing lasts forever, and I got mixed reactions from that. Some people would be like, so true. And some people would be like, God, that's negative. So I got only love a year later that just sort of, I could whip it out and be like, well, love lasts forever. If anybody ever said, God, you're negative, I'd be like, no, love lasts forever. So it's sort of like, nothing does really last forever, but I believe like in eternal love, like eternal positivity, the life force that's connecting all of us, that just keeps on going.
You know, I don't have any tattoos, but I decided that if I was ever going to get a tattoo, I'd put it on like my upper chest area, and it would say, never again. Just so people would be like, I wonder what the thing is that he's not going to do. I'd be like,
it should be on your neck.
I can't even talk about that. Did you ever climb Mount Everest?
Almost. I went up to base camp.
How high was that? How high were you? And why did you do such a thing?
It was pretty high. It was about 19,000 feet. Yeah. Yeah, and I was definitely high the whole time. Seriously, I hardly remember it. My face, like, just exploded. Like, it was like a big puffball. My eyes could hardly open. My lips were like...
This really happened?
This really happened to me. I didn't have any definition in my hands or feet. They were all like just sausages.
Wow, really?
I had a real hard time with it. Yeah, I mean, I made it. I was walking.
By the time you got there, it was just the most miserable thing
It
ever.
was pretty miserable, but it was amazingly miserable.
And then when people, when they looked at you and they were like, man, we got all that ways to go, they weren't like, why aren't you gonna? Because you were already like moments away from popping.
Yep. Yep.
And then, how long did it take you to get up there?
It took 11 days, I believe.
And was it just a challenge for your body, or what? I don't know why.
The things we do for love.
Oh, really?
I know you want it.
I know you want it.
No, I did it for, actually, there's a nonprofit organization based in Denver called Love, Hope, Strength. And they work with building cancer centers in developing nations, and they also work to build the bone marrow donor database. And they do that through rock. They'll come to a rock concert and stick little swabs in people's mouths and put you in a computer, and maybe you could be a donor for somebody who needs your stuff. And but they also do these concerts in these ridiculously high places, so people pay a premium price to go on this hike with musicians. So I was a musician on that hike.
Have you ever been around a guy who does, like, everything he does is, like, for other people, and he's super generous, and he's, like, a lovely person, and he kind of makes you sick a little bit? Have you ever been around that?
I felt that way when I was around Bono, yeah.
Yeah. I've never had that feeling, but I can imagine it was difficult for you.
You never met Bono?
I don't meet people like that. I don't have that level of status, but thank you for rubbing that shit in. I did sing Superstition with this dude named Stevie Wonder once. What's up now, Brett? He thought I was awesome. Anyway, so when you were asked to do this boat cruise, how much of you was like, first of all, I don't even like those guys. Secondly, being on a boat like that with those guys for that long sounds terrible. Or were you just like, hey man, is it gonna be tequila? Or like, what was your thought of doing this cruise?
I usually only go on boats where I know that I'll definitely be the best artist. So. Usually, I've been on 5 boats, and earlier, when the first like 3 or 4 of them I went on, I have fun, but I didn't know why I was going on them, because I'm convinced that, well, first of all, you're trapped, and you're out at sea, and I just saw Captain Phillips and the movie All Is Lost, but I'm also convinced that they put stool softeners in the food to make sure the plumbing, there's no issues. And I always get a little sick after the boat. But I don't know why I just keep doing them. Maybe I thought I was going to get more famous or something. But I had the realization that I just really like being out at sea, I think. I really like being out on the ocean. So thank you for inviting me on your boat.
Well,
but also it's a special thing. I think you never get to do this at a concert. It's a festival out at sea. There's no separation from you and the people. They're getting their money's worth.
I never thought I would say this ever in my life, but I really miss Matt Nathanson at this point. That was the greatest response of any question I've ever heard in my life. I don't even know if we should continue, because that's like listening to Hey Jude and then having to follow it up with like Meet Virginia. But anyway, what an amazing response. I hate you. Congratulations. What I would like to say is, I think train fans are really, really lovely. And what I like about them is they remind me of San Francisco. And what I mean by that is...
cold and wet.
They're...
horny. Cold, wet, and horny.
Wow. You know what? you should sing
It's
"I
so
Know You
pretty
Want
too.
It" because it's starting to feel right for you. Maybe you'll play that number tonight. No, it's. Do you think the same way I do, where San Francisco is the most tolerant city in the world?
Yeah, it is.
And that's how I feel like Train fans. Like, you and Michael Fronte and, we could be out here with anybody. And they, like, Train fans would go like, oh, I love them. Or I can see why I'm going to love them.
Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I was just out on the deck. I go out there. Oh, I forgot to answer the question with a real answer. Why I go on the boat. And you said something about tequila. I happen to love tequila. So I do this thing on the boat where I go and I stand out on the deck and I wait for somebody to come up and offer to buy me a drink. And that way I don't ever have to pay for a drink.
You get like your pockets inside out and your jeans.
Yeah, I don't have any money. But a guy walked up to me and he like with his daughter or something and he was like, "Are you somebody?" He's like, "Okay, who are you? Because people keep coming up to you and I don't know, man, but I gotta get my picture with you or something." But he was totally down to talk to me and be a fan, and he hadn't even heard me yet.
Wow. And did he?
Just saw
buy
me
you that?
standing there.
Did he buy you that tequila?
No, he didn't. I told him I was trained. I told him I was the caboose. The guy in the back that doesn't get any credit. You know? Is that your job, Jerry?
Jerry hates you so much, man, because he usually gets all the laughs and he's got nothing. If you can't see him on the radio, he just said so many things to you. I think one of them was, "I know you want it." So, I want to finish by playing one of the singles or your latest single off of your new record. But I'm not done yet, because what I'd love to do is I always have a few questions that my wife always likes me to ask. And they were meant for me, and then I translated them to other people. One is, when are you going to finally pick up your shit around the house? I don't know how that applies to you, but I just figured I would start with that.
Oh. You got a lot of shit. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but there is a lot of it, for sure.
The other one is this a real diamond? I'm just kidding. Here are the real questions. If you were going to tell people, because you travel around the world, what one of your best or most exciting tour finds is? We get to travel, so you find this little burger joint or a record store or something out there that maybe people don't know about that you can turn people on to.
Well, I don't really go looking for Ooh. Well, I don't know. I like the weird little towns with like Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, like nobody would ever go to, but just has like little hot springs, things like that. I like.
So you seek out nature basically all the time,
Well,
right? You go
no,
on hikes
I mean I look for food. I'm really into sushi, so I'm always like looking for like some good fish, and like we like to go for runs and stuff and try to maybe run and
Yeah. So like, is there a running trail somewhere that you want to recommend to somebody?
Well, yeah, I think the Green Mountain Trail just outside of Boulder up into the Flatirons is awesome. Next time somebody's playing in Boulder, to go hit that up. Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a really long answer.
I don't know.
I don't even know that we got an answer.
It wasn't even
You don't
an
like
answer.
things. You like running.
I gotta like things. I got some things.
What are you currently a fan of? Is there like a clothing line, or is there a television show or a new record or something that you're a big fan of?
Well, yeah, I'm really excited about the fact that Magnum PI is now on Netflix. And I told my whole band to wear Hawaiian shirts, but apparently I'm the only one who did it.
You are one really terrible mustache away from Magnum right now.
I can't grow a mustache. I was hoping you would have one. John Oates practically doesn't even have one. What the hell is up with that?
You know, when I met John Oates, he didn't have his mustache.
Yeah.
And I made a terrible decision to ask him about it. And it was almost going to keep us from being friends. I was like, John, I love you, man. What happened? What happened to the mustache? And he was like, really? I was like, well, I'm sorry, but I got to know. People are asking me, man. And he's like, it's a long story. And that was it. I never got any more from it. But then I found out when I did a podcast with him that it was actually he was reinventing himself when he did his solo work and everything.
Oh,
So-
I thought it was going to be like a story about he had some crazy form of upper lip cancer and he couldn't grow a stash anymore.
Man, you're really always looking at the bright side of things, aren't you? Well, no, he didn't. Yeah, he doesn't have any cancer on his lip. So, if you were going to tell people who maybe don't know the lifestyle that we live, which is kind of always somewhere other than
Yes.
home or maybe with the people that you love or whatever, why would you tell them that you even do this? Why do you continue to do this? Because you have 5 albums. I mean, that's a lot in the time that, I mean, you're 34, and I mean, I got 5 records, and I'm like 30-something. Shut up, bitches. And so I'm 44. I got 10 years on you, and like that's a lot of work. And then you have 3 like EPs and live stuff. Like you have a lot of work. Why are you in this constant work, progress, pursuit of whatever it is inside of you?
Well, it's just that I think any artist or performer or somebody who like seeks out their passion, they're trying to make time stand still, or they're trying to like stay forever young, or they're trying to stay in this dream state of like, it's this feeling that you get when I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a rush, or it's like this inspired place that I only really feel it when I'm writing a song and it feels like I'm onto something. Like, oh, this is a new song. It's getting a rise out of me. It's making me feel like I'm creating something special. And then I also get the feeling when I am performing on stage.
Would you choose writing or performing if you had to make that choice? Because people do make that choice. A lot of people.
Yeah. It's really tough because over the past like 7 years, I've really grown to love performing. It's
human
amazing to
connection.
be on stage with people playing music for
Yeah.
people, and you
Yeah,
get
it really
paid
is.
for it. It's incredibly lucky. And sometimes with writing, I go through serious phases of not writing and maybe it's writer's block, or maybe I'm just uninspired or whatever. But I go through long periods of not being able to write anything. So I think if I chose just to be a writer, I think it would be much more of an emotional roller coaster. Whereas performing, you just get to have fun all the
Right,
time.
and being a writer, think of all the people that are judging it, then it has to get through this guy or this girl, and then, okay, we'll send it to the artist, and then perhaps they want to... Anyway, I'm going to ask one more question, then I wanted to see if Pergo would go out and maybe take 2 questions, because we've never had a live audience.
It's like Donahue.
And it's like Donahue, yeah. Donahue is like... Donahue of all the things? Anyway, where are you going, ma'am? Where are you going? Are you gonna? You have to go to the bathroom? Okay. Yeah, I hate to call you out on that. Oh, you're gonna bring your friends with you? Got it. It's not rude. It's fine. You're good. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're not. It's fine. And so my question is, is there a yes or a no that perhaps set the pace for your life? Like something you said yes or no to that maybe changed the path that you're on currently? Like you said yes to opening, like you were on a John Mayer tour, like that type of thing. Was there yes to a record deal, or when you said no to a record, like what is the thing that maybe set the pace?
Well, that's a great question because, like, it's a long string of yeses, whether it's like a John Mayer opening for you guys or Fronty or whomever, all that. But I think it's hard to like go back to the first one that really set it all off. For me, it would probably be before I had ever made a record, I was living in Santa Cruz and writing songs and playing them, and a friend's mom she had a home studio down in the Los Angeles area, and she offered for me to come down there and record. And I said yes to that, and then we developed a relationship where she became my manager for a while. We don't work together in that capacity anymore, but it set me in motion.
Yeah, that sounds like a great thing to have said yes to. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Is there anybody who wanted to ask Brett a question before we sing one last song? There's a girl right there. You can grab her, and she can. You might want to come up to the step. Although I know that you don't want to get up because you've been sitting in the sun all day.
No, I really haven't, so it's all right. It's okay.
Okay.
But I do have to ask you a question. Are you still dating that girl that Pergo hit on last night, your girlfriend?
Yes. I don't know where she is right now, though, but I can see him. So
here, hold on. If you don't,
can rule him out.
Yeah, but if you don't know where she is, I think I can find out. Pergo, do you know where his? Sorry. Are you asking because perhaps you're available?
No. I just know that I would be mad if somebody was hitting on my boyfriend.
Right.
But I love you, Pergo. It's all right.
Oh, he's tapping his watch.
He says we have to go. I don't know.
Is there any other question that has something to do with anything other than Pergo stealing Brett's girlfriend? What do you got?
Hello.
Hi.
I've seen your name on other T-shirts from other cruises on the ship.
Yep.
So what's your favorite item in the buffet?
Nice question. This current ship?
Sure.
There's this little, I don't even know what it is, but it's like these little pickled potato-y things that is maybe Indian or something. It's kind of spicy. I don't know what it is, but I definitely do like 3 scoops of it every meal. It's like it's just called. They say pickled. It's called pickled with a D.
Pickled stool softener. Those. That's what that is.
It's highly addictive.
So I think there's one last person who wanted to ask something up there. Are you good? We're good? We covered it all for Brett. Well, would you mind if we finished up with Wild Child?
Let's do it.
You want to tell people what this is about and what inspired it?
This is a song that it's the first song I wrote for this record, Smoke and Mirrors, and it just came at a time, I was feeling really uninspired and feeling like I had a lot of pressure, and I had felt like there were a lot of expectations for me for the record, and I just couldn't really get into it, and I was feeling like just a lot of pressure to be a certain way, and so I wrote this song.
Is it like self-implied? Like
a lot of it is, yeah. A lot of it is
me.
like I need to be who I think people want me to be, and that's all bullshit, you know. Even the stuff that people want you to be, even that stuff that's real for them, that's also BS. But so it's my own way of just trying to forget about that stuff and just try to remember to be myself.
Well, that's good advice for anybody. Brett said that I could sing the second verse on this. If I don't do a good job, I apologize. And if I do a really good job, then you're welcome.
All right. Jerry's gonna play too. Yeah, there we go. Complete the circle. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh. I am a wild child, yes I am. I love the country and I wanna run free and I don't wanna live up to anyone's plans. I wanna feel the good vibes and I wanna feel the sunshine with you by my side. I am a wild child, mama. You can hold me tight if you wanna hold me tonight. Take me where the music's playing. Get me on the dance floor. Hold me a little closer. I am wild child, yes I am. I wanna feel good vibes and I wanna feel the sunshine with you by my side. I am a wild child, mama. You can hold me tight if you wanna hold me tonight. I am a wild child, mama. You can hold me tight if you wanna hold me tonight. Oh, wild child, mama. Hold me tight if you wanna hold me tonight.
Thank you so much, Brett Dennen. Thanks so much for being
Thank
here
you.
for the Patcast. And everybody's going to check out all your website, your
Great.
Instagram stuff, and make sure that they know where you're headed next.
Thank you. I'll be sure to check out theirs as well.
Smoke and Mirrors, the latest album from Brett Dennen, featuring Wild Child, which I sang with him on the boat, as well as on the podcast. It's out now, and he is performing a bunch of tour dates in the U.S. in April. He will actually be playing with us at the Tortuga Festival in Florida on April 12th and 13th. So if you're going to be anywhere near Florida, make sure to check that date out. His website is brettdennen, DENNEN.net, and he's at Brett Dennen on Instagram and Twitter. And we're at Patcast Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and patcast.com if you'd like to just go to the internet, and Patcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. So that's it. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. Brett Dennen, awesomeness. I'm Pat Monahan, and we'll see you next week.